You're watching the Dallas Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey. Here's what's on tap for today's show. We're going to begin with some Kadarius Toney trade rumors. A lot of you have asked, and he's a pretty big story out there, so we'll break that down. An idea of signing Odell Beckham is once again back, sticking with our receiver theme early on. We'll also discuss the Cowboys' interest in one Sam Tevi. We'll explain exactly who that is, and Earl Thomas as well to the Cowboys. This is for when we talk about that part of today's conversation because, well, the Earl Thomas rumors somehow once again are back, even though they make no sense. We're going to begin, though, with Kadarius Toney, and I'm going to give this one star off the top. I am open to it, kind of, sort of, but there's a lot that's going on here that we're going to spend quite a bit of time on. Background, if you don't know already, the Giants are allegedly open to trading away Kadarius Toney. Now, he has yet to report for voluntary workouts this year for the Giants. He doesn't have the playbook yet. And this is just the latest in a rather long line of, I'll call them, problems that Toney's had with the New York Giants. It is so unbelievably rare for a team to want to trade their first-round pick so soon. Even with a new regime in charge, this stuff doesn't often happen. But Toney has been a problem child for the New York Giants. He missed some of his rookie workouts because he didn't sign his contract yet, but that hasn't impacted other players. It was really weird. He had practice issues. He was wearing the wrong cleats one day, injured his foot, then practiced with no shoes. Like, what are you doing, dude? There were allegedly meeting issues in terms of him being focused and locked in. He missed 7 games with injuries last year. He threw a punch in the Cowboys game that got him ejected, which we'll spend some more time on that game in a minute, and now he hasn't shown up to the team. And it just seems like this organization is already over him. That is a massive red flag, my friends. Now, you remember Toney against the Cowboys, that earlier on game in which he punched DeMonte Casey, got himself ejected. 10 catches, 189 yards. He looked like everything the Giants wanted and more. The problem is, beyond that one game, the other 9 he played in, he didn't do anything. 231 yards, 0 scores across the season. He finishes the year with 420 yards. Coincidence? I think not. But Toney, it wasn't good enough last year. And you throw in the off-the-field stuff, and despite the immense talent, the immense short area quickness that is just wildly impressive, he has not been the player that the Giants were hoping he was going to be. So there are concerns if you try to trade for Toney right now. So we'll open up the show here, our first question today, and we'll spend some more time on Toney, asking your opinions. Would you trade for Kadarius Toney? I want to hear what you guys have to say. Y for yes, N for no. This is the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad break comes, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. I have troubles with this because the off the field scares me. If the Giants were just like, yeah, he's not a scheme fit, maybe I'd have more interest. But the Giants apparently, if the reports are to be believed, don't want him because he is a problem. That makes me not want him because he's a problem, right? Like, yes, he's talented. You can gamble on that. But guys who get in year one, the hit rate is minuscule. Like, it's not a good track record there. Now, the Cowboys have draft picks. If they traded away a 5th for Toney, I'd be like, okay, I get it. I hope he's not a screw-up, as I talked a lot about with our Giants show host here, Marshall Green. Like, I just kind of think Toney's a screw-up. And I don't really want any more screw-ups on my team, as talented as they are. So you can talk yourself into it. Well, you're getting the immense talent, and you would also have to worry about him just continuing to have problems. The Cowboys do need wide receiver help. But honestly, I would feel better about just drafting a receiver kind of early as opposed to, once again, gambling on an off-the-field, maybe in the locker room troubled player more so than off-the-field issues. So what do you think? If you have interest in trading for Kadarius Toney, what draft pick would you be willing to move? I would be okay with a 5th, but I'm not going to trade a top 100 pick for a guy that I don't know if he cares about football. I don't know if he does. That's a huge issue for me if I ran an organization. What do you guys think, though? What draft pick would you trade for Kadarius Toney? While you're down there, make sure you subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel at youtube.com/chatsportstv. We will be live for every single round, every single pick, all 3 days, plus coverage afterwards at youtube.com/chatsportstv. I'll put the link to that in the comments section and the description. Make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss out on our awesome coverage. All right, it's time. Earl Thomas to the Cowboys conversation. I got the shot here, which is an absolutely massive shot, by the way, of Jack Daniels. So here we go again with the Earl Thomas Cowboys stuff. It just continues to be here. So before we break it down, and since there was no live this week, I knew we'd have Super Chats. Bottoms up. Ooh, I hate it. I'm not a fan of this. Wow. Thomas told ESPN he wants to play again. He has not played in the NFL. Wow, that's a lot of alcohol. Since being cut by the Ravens in the 2020 preseason. Good thing our food is almost here. He was cut after a long line of incidences on the field and off the field. He maybe Philadelphia is the best place for him. The real ones know that joke. But after a fight with a teammate, he got in an argument with Chuck Clark. He punched him after he blew a coverage, and the Ravens were done with him. A team that was fighting for a Super Bowl said, he is a negative asset. Get him out of here. We don't care about the money. The players, his teammates, voted to cut him. That is a big-time concern. That is a massive red flag. And there are locker room cancer red flags everywhere right now with Earl Thomas, the way his Seattle tenure ended, flipping off his coach along the sidelines. It didn't go well. And I understand the name recognition that Earl Thomas comes with. I absolutely do. But I don't know if I want him here. So what do you think? Do you want to sign Earl Thomas? And this is, I hope, the last time we talk about it, but I thought we were done with it, and here it is back once again. So do you want to sign Earl Thomas? S for sign, P for pass. I do want to hear from you guys in the comment section, so I'll spend some more time on this, but head down there and let me know. I'm really not interested. I think that race has been run. It doesn't make sense to bring in Earl Thomas at this stage in his career and even where the Cowboys are at in their organization. Earl Thomas, prime Earl Thomas, is a guy that I wanted desperately. I've always loved Earl, impact player. I wanted him when the Ravens signed him. He lasted 1 year. His production did begin to decline over the years in Seattle and in Baltimore. And it's not, if it was just like, if Earl Thomas only had injury problems, which weren't really the case, I would be all for this still. But it's the off-the-field stuff. I'm a little tired of adding problem children. I don't want them anymore on my team. And Earl Thomas, unfortunately, kind of became that. It was a line that was attributed to Mike McCarthy. When your BS meter exceeds your production meter, you're done. And I think that's what happened with Earl Thomas. And you could say, well, Tom, what if they did a 1-year non-guaranteed deal? I'm like, okay, sure, I get all that. That's fine. How often do you see teams actually do that, though? It's not common for them to sign that 1 year, no guaranteed, bring him in, see what happens, and then cut him a month later. That's not how teams operate, because if they think he's a problem, they just dump him, and they don't have any interest there. And frankly, I don't know if Earl Thomas is any better than Malik Hooker right now. I can't believe I'm saying that out loud. It's not something I would have said a couple years ago, but that's more or less where I'm at with Earl Thomas. I know he's a big name. You know the Cowboys are going to be linked to him. They already have been by way too many outlets out there. But I just don't want him all that much. So hopefully that is the end of the Earl Thomas conversation. But I also know we'll get super chats on our live shows. And if you want to be on our live shows, by the way, make sure you guys are subscribed. Sub numbers are down. Disappointing. Bosses are going, hey, Tom, what the F are you doing out there, man? Get it changed. So help me out by subscribing. Let's get to at least 127,000 before the draft gets going. Hit that big red button and subscribe right now. Let's talk Sam Tevi. This one is interesting to me because the Cowboys have interest. 4 stars on this front. Shout out Michael Gelkin, who doesn't miss, just like Todd Archer. He broke the news on Friday. The Cowboys visited with Sam Tevi, brought him in for a visit, maybe a workout as well. Per Gelkin, this was more of a medical checkup, but that is a clear sign of interest in the former Colts and Chargers offensive tackle. I kind of thought the Cowboys would have interest in another veteran swing so you didn't have to rely on only Josh Ball. Tevi could be that guy. He's played left tackle and right tackle with LA, had a rough showing in the preseason for Indy, then of course tore his ACL at that point. In 2020, he was the Chargers starting right tackle. Now, he wasn't that good. 2 sacks allowed, 9 hits, 22 hurries, a really bad PFF run grade. But remember, we are at the end of April. It is almost impossible to find viable starting tackles at this point unless they are old or asking for way too much money. Tevi's youngish, coming off of injury, and he would be better as a swing tackle option. So the pickings are slim. So I'm not going to be mad if they add Sam Tevi. It would be the 4th outside free agent they sign. Let's ride and do something. My God, Dallas. Be interesting in the offseason and free agency. Please, I beg of you. He's not going to start over Terrence Steele unless there's injuries. But as a probably cheap 1 year, next to no guaranteed money, it joins the line of the Cam Fleming, the Ty Nsekhe, just the veteran swing who's not great, but probably wouldn't murder your quarterback if he had to be out there. So when it comes to free agency, name a player who you guys want to sign. Let me know in the comments section what player you have interest in adding in free agency. Might see some OBJs in there, and this idea floated out by Inside the Star, adding him. I'm going to give it 1 star. My interest levels in OBJ have gone, they were non-existent, then went up, now back down in between those two. Beckham suffered a torn ACL in the Super Bowl, and he had boosted his stock with the Rams. My concerns here, which we'll go more in depth momentarily, are what's the cost, what's the role, and what's the medical? And the medical, as it relates to who is on your roster, is where things get a little bit dicey for me. We'll come back to my thoughts, but we're a show for the people, so I want to hear from you guys. Would you sign Odell Beckham? OBJ for yes, no BJ for no. A very fun weigh-in we have here. Sound off for me in the comments section. Beckham with the Rams, especially down the stretch in the playoff run, he looked like that guy again. He looked like prime OBJ. The issue is he suffered that torn ACL in the Super Bowl. And had you not signed Michael Gallup, I would have been pushing a lot more, and I might be one of the leaders in doing it, in signing Odell Beckham. Because what you might have week 1 is CeeDee Lamb, James Washington, and a draft pick at receiver. It's a little dicey. OBJ will be a great addition, but he's hurt too. So here are the pros and cons, right? Super impactful player once he's healthy. Bounce back with the Rams. Contract-wise, he, I think, would fit Catboy's style. I think it would be I think in the end, he signs a 1-year prove-it deal, tries to cash in again next year, probably back with the Rams. The flip side, though, and why it doesn't work for the Cowboys, he's not going to be ready week 1. By the time Gallup is back, OBJ is probably close to getting back given the timing of their tears and surgeries. Does it make sense to have 2 injured wideouts who aren't going to help you in week 1? I kind of don't think so. I would also worry about him regressing and being a diva. So if OBJ was healthy and or if they hadn't signed Gallup, I'd be all for it. But I think that the role year 1 for OBJ is kind of overlapped by Gallup. So I can revisit it if they don't draft anybody early, but I think right now, just with the timing and the fit, it's not quite right for the Dallas Cowboys.